All right. Good morning, everybody. Happy Thursday to all joining us. Double checking the volume here. Yeah, should be good. Okay. So, welcome and thank you all for joining. My name is Jared. This is Engineering the Markets, and it is April 21st, 2022. Happy Thursday. And let's quickly just take a look at where we sit for the rest of the week. Quick reminder, we are sitting at the upper bound of the SPX expected move for the week. So a lot of the price activity throughout the week has led us to this upper bound. Recall that this is approximately a 98 to 100 point expected move for the week. And yesterday, a lot of the trade was centered right below that price level. So uh, while the S&Ps are trading within their expected move, the SPY is actually pre-market starting to break out. And I wanted to talk about a couple of nuances from yesterday really quickly that we covered on yesterday's session. First and foremost, the high of day from yesterday was marked off by the gap fill from about a week ago. You'll note that there is a price level gap between Friday and Monday of last week. And you'll note that the close of Friday, the settlement price of a weekly settlement, was about 447.57. And that marked the exact high of day if we look at the top tick of yesterday's candle, 447.57. Very good just risk to reward area in regards to maybe taking some short opportunities intraday, along with not expecting too much more from the market until we get a clean break of that level. Usually gap fills will inflect, and you won't necessarily see a hard upthrust through those levels until we start to consolidate or just set up in some different way. Now, big news yesterday after hours, we did get Tesla coming out with earnings. Majority of the numbers were a beat. We're looking at pretty optimistic growth and lots of good response from the earnings conference call about 30 minutes after the numbers were announced. Overall trade, however, was centered around that expected move. So about $84 for Tesla based on yesterday's close. You'll also note that the difference between sort of the calculated expected move and what is often referred to as the quicker way to get the expected move, kind of the down and dirty way to do it, just taking the at the money straddle, there's about a $10 difference in price. So, the 975s, if you look at the close yesterday, these are trading at about 75 to 78, while the calculated expected move on this platform is a little bit higher. Usually that's not going to be too much of a concern. You're often thinking in slightly bigger intervals, but it might have dictated some of the relative profitability of trades around that price. You'll also notice that Tesla, even though it is gapping up this morning, is following its expected move. We closed at 975. The top print so far is about 1053. We didn't really have a ton of downside. We just saw a lot of volatility as the numbers came out. But however, Tesla is above its more recent balance range. So, some very simple highs and lows over the past week and a half as we were awaiting earnings. And even something as simple as gapping over this swing high, which, as you can tell, yesterday was a more bearish session for Tesla. Lots of fear in some of the higher multiple and growth names even ones that are a bit larger in market cap, due to the unexpected outcome from Netflix. So a little bit of preliminary selling just to protect possibly some unrealized profit. And then, of course, earnings coming out with a slight beat. And we're looking at Tesla gapping over a lot of this technical resistance. So really quickly as well, just wanted to cover some of the dynamics yesterday on Netflix. I know a lot of people either, hit home runs on Netflix, staying with the trend, especially in the morning session. You might have caught some of that waterfall sell-off. You might have also been somewhat trapped, whether you're a intraday reversal trader or maybe you didn't expect that type of downside. I wanted to explain some of the dynamics that caused that type of selling. Maybe in the future, that'll become part of your thinking whenever you have such a large earnings reactionary beat. And in this case, the surprise beat to the downside, I say beat, surprise to the downside. A lot of dynamics are in play whenever you have this. So first and foremost, it is just a waterfall sell-off. First 9 or so 5-minute candles were completely lower high, lower low. So as a reversal trader, you need to be careful of these scenarios because really you're looking for extremes, but you're also aware that until you get some clarity at a bottom, your risk is pretty much undefined. You don't really have clarification on stops unless you're on shorter time frames or just taking every absolute low as risk. And then, of course, we did bottom out and see some resolution to the upside once the selling has stopped. And what can cause this type of selling is more or less around the option market. Yes, there are people selling positions. There's obviously momentum trading and intraday trades centered around selling into selling. That's all well and good, but what is in place before this happens is more about what's in the option market right into earnings. So let me just show an example of what some of those option market dynamics did for Netflix yesterday and try and explain it to those maybe unfamiliar. We'll take an example like a 250 strike. So before Netflix earnings, there were traders and basically there was open interest in lower put strikes that were way out of the money. Some of these were hedges. Some of these were very speculative, just looking for Netflix to disappoint once again. There's a bit of a historical precedence of that happening. And what you'll notice here, I just have the think back tool the day before earnings. You'll notice that there is higher open interest and volume coming into these lower strikes. You can go as far out as things like 230 and 210, and you'll see that there are actually some open interest way out of the money. But what's more important about these is that these puts carry essentially no delta. They have maybe 0.01, 0.02, even just kind of getting into the high 200s to 300s. We're talking about, in the teens of delta. So very speculative, out of the money, 2 to 3 sigmas out. And Netflix happened to make a 3 sigma move yesterday. It actually went a bit further, making about a $125 to $130 move from its close. We closed at 350. Lower bound was about 212. So, do the math. But what's important is that these contracts were in place before the gap down occurred. So it's not as if people were getting into them inside of the market itself. They actually were established beforehand. And what we'll do is we'll look and see, obviously these exploded in premium. They were very profitable positions for those who happen to be long some of those puts. But more importantly, there was enough size out here enough people speculating to the downside, hedging or otherwise, that some of the dynamics of market making firms had to protect their risk. They're the ones selling these puts to market participants. And if you sell a put as a market maker, you are long delta. In order to negate that long delta, however small it is, you often sell the underlying shares. So if I am long zero point zero 0.01 delta by selling a put, I have to be delta neutral, sell back a Netflix share just to negate those numbers. It's basically just countering it with the actual underlying. Now, what can happen here is that whenever the market opened, and especially as we started to sell off, a lot of these puts, which carried little to no delta, and the market makers had hedged that off earlier. They had done the minimal amount of hedging right before the close. Now the market is open once again, and market makers are going to start re-hedging what is now an updated delta expression, or an updated delta value for all of these puts. And just to show, a lot of these went not only in the money, but they went fully intrinsic, which simply means that what was once a very small delta now became like trading the underlying one-to-one, fully intrinsic put definition. And that's really dangerous for not only the market makers, who have to continuously sell underlying shares of Netflix to protect against the delta exposure that these puts now carry. But if that continues, if people are basically not relinquishing the positions that have been established until obviously the most extreme points, then a lot of these will just carry over. They almost facilitate the selling themselves. And what you'll find is that obviously as retail participants, these are going to both explode in premium. And what you'll see here is just a simple example of that. This is the 250. It obviously started off costing very little to purchase the day before earnings, was very profitable at open, but wasn't even in the money. The 250 was still kind of far away for, actually Netflix did open below 250. That was the start point. So these actually went in the money at open. And then of course, as the market sold, they went fully intrinsic. They basically became a delta of one, a negative one in this case. So just wanted to show that, because when you think about some of the selling yesterday, it wasn't necessarily people panicking out of their long-term position. Maybe some of that was the case. A lot of the short-term trade was centered around this dynamic. It's called dynamic hedging. It has characteristics based around delta and gamma related attributes of options. And the more you understand about this, the more you can take advantage of it, because really Netflix was outside of its expected move before the open. It was already 2 times outside of its expected move. All it took was that little bit of a tipping point to continue the selling, and the hedging activity provided the fuel. What that allowed for this to do is not only to sell, but to sell with almost reckless abandon. There was no pullback. Until we bottomed, this market didn't even allow for a bounce or anything to recover a sort of reversal intraday. And that's a very dangerous thing. A lot of people probably got caught up in that. I'm included. I tried to catch the 3 sigma bounce. I was looking at 230 as an opportunity. If the market recovered at 230, which is 3 sigmas outside, then I knew that the dynamic hedging would allow for this to potentially bounce from that price level. Unfortunately, I wasn't deep enough. The market continued to sell, and we got almost 3.5 sigmas at the absolute lows, about 215, and of course 212.50, the absolute price low for Netflix. So it's important to understand because you can play both sides, but until the hedging stops, there really is no concept of technicals, support and resistance. None of that really matters in the moment. What matters is that the hedging has to cease and the facilitation of selling pressure has to end. A lot of it's going to be around people starting to unwind their option profit and their option losses. So just wanted to show that because it affected me. It obviously led to a red day yesterday. Was unsuccessful trying to catch the bounce, and part of it is just not anticipating the amount of extreme selling that we happen to get in Netflix. Otherwise, it did reverse a little bit later. So last but not least, we do have some, and we'll probably look at this a bit more inside of the pre-market prep. We do have some relative strength today in the airliners. Delta Airlines reported last week. United Airlines reported earlier yesterday. And then I believe we just got AAL to report as well. I think I've got the order right. Yeah, so AAL just reported a little bit earlier this morning. So a lot of the airliners have reported. Most of them have provided some relatively positive guidance. I think a lot of these are still in the order of beaten down from some of the issues with returning flights and obviously booking cancellations that facilitated revenue loss, along with the higher levels of debt that a lot of these companies tend to carry. Some of the more optimistic guidance that we've seen has led to some of these gapping up. So we do have names like Delta, which has already made the move, and then AAL and UAL for the intraday session. Just wanted to show those nice hourly uptrends, those gap up opens that we're about to experience, tagging the 20 period, even on sort of a pre-market test. Very good signal that this is, kind of continuing its uptrend. We'll be looking for these to maybe reestablish a bit lower and just continue this this move to the upside. Otherwise, right now they are still a bit extended. Same thing with UAL as well. So one way you can look at this is kind of a guide. You can bring up something like the JETS ETF. Probably not worthwhile to trade this versus any of the other airliners directly. They tend to have about the same volatility intraday. But if you're looking just as a sentiment change, what I wanted to highlight here is that the JETS ETF is often one that rejects the 200. So what's keeping this ETF down has often been rejections at the 200. And what you'll notice about today's price action is we tried to reject yesterday with a small breach. This could have easily turned into this, and now we're sitting somewhere up here. So usually bigger sentiment changes like that, they often occur at the right location to occur. What was once a very common just rejection point, sell the 200, position yourself to where more downside yet to come. If that doesn't work, then there might be a little bit of short covering and some additional strength as the market is starting to speculate back into these companies. And that's going to be fuel for the fire if we do have a nice rally today off of this this earnings beat. So with all that said, it is Thursday. I know I didn't do what I was supposed to do today, talk about Wyckoff. That's fine. We'll cover it more next week, maybe Monday, trying to get some of the earnings to not be the main focus. It's earnings season, so it's hard to not talk about it. But overall, wanted to see if there's any questions or tickers that you wanted to look at. As always, I'll start with the main chat and I'll look at maybe one or two, and then I'll give it to YouTube for another one or two. What is the prediction today for Netflix price? Is it possible to predict because you're hedging? Most of the hedging's already done. I don't think that's going to be a factor today. it just was a major factor yesterday because whenever you have a major surprise after hours, if the option market is already established, the market makers have to come in at the morning open most of the time and re-hedge. They have to basically reallocate. And if there's a clear bias to that, if you're outside of expected move or, it's a really nasty beat, that power is very continuous. It tends to build upon itself for a very long time. So the further you're out, the worse it gets too. Um, Sometimes it can be so bad that, the option market isn't even prepared for it. That tended to happen in some of the short squeeze movement that we saw in car. Um, and what you'll notice is that a lot of those stocks are actually kind of seeing some short-term rally here. I think people are maybe starting to speculate, the potential of these into their earnings. Their earnings is coming up in the next couple of weeks. So, but this can, the option market can break the market as well. Netflix wasn't broken; it just had a lot of people out in the downside puts. So. Meta, same idea. Some, recent selling in Meta, fear with regards to Netflix. There's also outflow of ETFs to consider. It's not to say that Facebook or Meta alone was part of the selling, but there is outflow in XLC from Netflix. And that outflow kind of trickles down into other companies, along with the fact that Facebook is a communication company, an XLC style company. So a little bit of fear here. People just don't want to have the earnings miss and see the type of downside that Netflix had. So they're trying to price that in ahead of time, and that caused a little bit of selling yesterday. Higher volume selling though, so it's worth paying attention to. End of the day though, this is the weekly back test of the 200. So we'll see if this stops. It would be ideal to stop where the weekly breakout started. So somewhere in this area would be ideal. Couldn't find any resources on dynamic hedging. There really aren't a lot of books out there. I don't have resources available. I learned a lot of this through my own research. So honestly, just keep looking. There's enough information out there to get the basics. Summarize how you're calculating the bottom of Netflix. I took 3 times the expected move. Closed at 350, expected move was 40. 40 times 3 is 120. So 350 minus 120 is 230. That's where I was looking for the reversal. It didn't happen. Netflix sold off another 15 points, basically. I couldn't tolerate that downside. QQQ and PayPal. We'll look at Qs just real quick. Here, the weekly bulls are still trying to set up their higher low. QQQ has that inverse head and shoulder potential right now because we do have a downside move with lack of follow through, basically a sell swing that didn't expand very far. We've already recovered to the top side, so the inverse head and shoulder is one of the things that the bulls want to construct. And all that is just a trend change back to the weekly bulls. The daily right now is still the worst. Out of all the indices, QQQ is probably taking it the worst. That's partly to do with rising interest rates and partly to do with some of the reactions we've seen so far. But keep in mind that Tesla is a big part of the QQQ. So some good, performance today in the Tesla bulls would be a boon for the NASDAQ. But yeah, big picture, I mean, Qs are still trapped between their weekly high retest, and that sets up possibly the neckline, and then of course this capitulation low, high volume low on the 1st of January, January 24th. So, all right, we'll look at Microsoft really quickly on YouTube. Um, let's see if I have any short-term clarity. So big picture here, Microsoft has this nice trend line that I think so far is pretty well respected. Um, you're honestly looking short term to get out of a retracement. And, unfortunately, this one's not going to be the cleanest, but I would argue that it's around this price level. You could also say that there was another retracement line here, similar to the market. We already broke that. So this right here, coming back into the trend line for support. We have earnings coming up. So any technical picture in the next couple of days is going to change dramatically, especially for Microsoft. That's next week. So, short term earnings are going to be the guide. I would say start looking at what the market's pricing in. $16 at the moment. That's probably going to go up a little bit. And if we can see some earlier reactions to tech companies not be as impactful to the downside as Netflix was, they might start getting back into Microsoft a little bit more bullish. But, there's nothing really of note here because the technical picture is one of a weekly downtrend that set up enough room for the weekly bulls to defend the trend line and ideally set up a weekly higher low. But before all of this was a weekly downtrend. It was basically like the rest of the market in that sell swing. And I would argue that Microsoft actually took a little bit of a deeper sell swing than most. So Microsoft was hit harder from its all-time high. I think the rest of the questions. So what y'all want to look up is dynamic hedging. Just understand that dynamic itself. There's some deeper discussion in like delta hedging versus gamma hedging, ball hedging, etc. But dynamic hedging is the concept. Each of those individual topics is based on the attribute that's being hedged off. So understand dynamic hedging first, and then go into deeper conversations or discussions once you know the basics. So see if you can find any information on that. All right, that's all my time. So thank y'all. Appreciate the patience here with the discussion, and stay tuned for pre-market prep. But otherwise, have a great rest of your week. We'll talk more next week, and look forward to more earnings coming out next week. Big tech names about to be on deck. So as always, trade safe.
Good morning, my friends. Welcome to the pre-market prep. I hope everyone's having an amazing morning. Hope you guys had a great day yesterday. Good morning, Norm. How are you doing today?
Hey, good morning, brother. I'm doing well. How are you?
Doing good, my friend. Doing good. Thank you for asking, guys. Let's get right to it. Take a look at some of the stuff we had on our list yesterday, starting with AMD. And man, what a great start to the day yesterday. A pre not pre-market, a mark after the market open. Here's AMD, guys. Beautiful sell-off. My first three stocks, AMD, Nvidia, and Netflix, sold off really, really nice. Gave you a beautiful continuation. And here's AMD, nice sell-off out of the gates here. Did take a bit to sell off for the second time. You had to kind of survive this consolidation that it did here. But look at the drop off after that. Beautiful drop again down to 93.67 from 95.72, which is a level that we had on our charts here. This was the pre-market low. And again, the breakouts out of these levels are really, really nice. You can see how well that traded there. The next one we had was Nvidia. We had this one and we knew it looked good. It traded well the day before too. The daily looked very nice. I was actually thinking it was going to be strong, but it turned out to be a beautiful short here. Very, very weak. Just look at this nice continuation you got towards the downside. Beautiful open range breakdown on the 5 minute. You got a nice little pullback here, and then just look at the drop off on Nvidia. Nice retest of the VWAP and the moving averages on the 20, and then another continuation down towards the low of the day, and then some. So just a beautiful, beautiful short on Nvidia, and of course the one that we cannot go without talking about today and in the next couple of days probably is Netflix. Netflix just continuing the bloodbath here yesterday. I think it dropped was another 15 18% after the bell. So again,
It was
just
nasty. It was about another. Uh, it was about another 10% it lost, I think, because it was
yep,
down 27, 28% during the pre-market, and I think it ended up in the high 30s down.
yeah,
Just yeah,
yeah.
but a bloodbath, as you mentioned.
It just
Regardless,
got crushed, man. So today we got some volume on that as well, and we're gonna see how that's gonna play out. The rest of my tickers did not do so well. Disney was again not much going on there, pretty choppy. Twitter again, I wasn't really paying too much attention to Twitter either way, but again, you can see here wasn't the best trader that we had on deck, and Apple got a little bit of a sell off. But when you look at AMD, Nvidia, and Netflix, you didn't need to go anywhere else really. So. Tesla was good too. Tesla was a nice drop as well. I did not have this on my main list, but again, guys, the thing about being part of a community is that I don't have to have my eyes on everything. There's key people here in the community calling things out that you can zoom in and see what's going on. So, a beautiful thing about being part of a community. So thank you guys for that. And let's get to our overall market and see what's going on there as far as the SPY.
yeah, initial claims, continuing claims just came out as we were starting. Frankly, I didn't have Squawk on. I haven't heard it, but it doesn't look like there's been too huge of a reaction in the market overall. Philly Fed as well. That's the manufacturing index, leading in economic indicators at 10, and then a biggie. Jay Powell speaking at 1 o'clock. I don't know what event he is at, but it'll be interesting. Um, it's the IMF that he'll be talking to. So, be interesting to see what he has to say about where things are going. So, full swing in the earnings season.
Yeah, it definitely is. And some big names reporting next week as well. Looking forward to that. It's always,
Mm-hmm.
always fun. So, um, all right, let's get to our list this morning. Gappers list, pretty packed on both sides here, guys. Tons of stuff in the green this morning, especially see airlines now are in play, guys. I haven't even looked at the charts yet, but I see a lot of them here gapping up 9.2. That's nice. United 8.2, JetBlue 5.1. We'll be looking at airlines today for sure. They are looking very good. Not sure what the catalyst is yet, but
Earnings.
that's earnings. Okay, yeah. So we're definitely going to be enjoying that. Um, EXP is Expedia, right? So even Expedia
Yeah.
doing
Yeah.
well
Travel
there. All
overall.
right, excellent. Gapping down, we have a couple of names here. Alcoa, we have BHP, Rio, Netflix again down 3.2 again after a bloodbath yesterday. Twitter down 2.3, and then we have some other names as well. We'll take a look at what's happening there. But let's go ahead and start with our gap up list today. We'll remove the stuff from yesterday. Control A, Control X gets rid of that. And then let's go ahead here and take a look at American Airlines leading the way this morning up 9.67 million shares traded. Now this is nice, guys. So, who reported? Norm,
American.
just American Airlines, and the rest are just sympathy, or
I take that back. Well, United reported yesterday after the close.
oh yeah, yeah.
JetBlue reports in a few days. But essentially, and then Delta reported like a week ago. But so American came out, not only their earnings story, but the CEO was on CNBC and said that they're expecting this quarter to be the highest revenue in the company's history.
Wow, really?
Yeah,
That is interesting. The
yeah.
company's history. How is that possible? Um,
Demand. People haven't flown in 2 years. They want to get out.
yeah, yeah. Wow. Very, very interesting. So, American Airlines guys here looking really good right now. Definitely in play, guys. 7.1 million. Love seeing that number there, and the breakout on the daily looking very, very nice, guys. Breaking out of 20, looking for 22 here. It's another area where we have a little bit of resistance. So that's looking pretty good. I do like United, but again, they're more of a sympathy move on American Airlines, I think, right now because
Yeah.
they had earnings last night and
Yep.
on the 20th and didn't do all that much. So I don't know. Let's see. Maybe a possible for now. Putting United Airlines here as a possible, but American Airlines is definitely the one. Tesla number two here, up 9%. Big pop for Tesla this morning. They are 916,000 at the moment and climbing. So that is looking very good. Finally breaking out of this consolidation that we had here the last couple of days. So that's good between 1025 and 975. I know it's a big consolidation, but again, just seem to have been stuck here and now breaking out nicely. Any news on Tesla, Norm?
Yeah, they had earnings last night.
So earnings looking really
It's
good here
420,
on
man. Of
Tesla.
course they had earnings.
Yeah, exactly. So earnings treating Tesla really good this morning, guys. They're up nicely, 8.9 so far.
I find it
Um,
strange that they legalized weed in your state there the day after 420.
Over here, yeah, it doesn't make any sense. Why not do it on the day?
Yeah, yeah,
Would have been
exactly.
more impactful, but it doesn't make any sense. We do weird things over here. That's for
You
sure.
do. I'll
Yeah,
give you that.
trust me. Only family's keeping me here. But yeah, let's get to the next one here is JetBlue. I have United and American, so I'm good there. BX is mm, no, not today. They're up 5%. Very light volume. I don't like the daily. Looks a little bit
This
messy.
one's tough to trade. It's
Yeah,
Blackstone. They did have earnings this morning, but it's not a great trader.
and again, guys, I think with the type of list we're having today, I mean, we
Yeah.
haven't even got to the gap down list. I know I'm going to be adding Netflix and Twitter on this list. Just we won't have room for this, I believe. Love another airline as well, but I think we got the two best ones right now, United and American, obviously looking really good pre-market. I see a couple of Bitcoin stuff in here. Riot and Bitcoin is up nicely today, right? They're up 3%.
2%.
Yeah, yeah. So that's looking pretty good this morning. Riot, again, these tickers, guys, correct me if I'm wrong, they just have not been great, right? I mean, they have not been trading the way they were like 6 months ago, maybe more. So I'm just not a fan of them. They're up 3.5, Riot's up 3.7. I don't know. I'm gonna skip on them from now. CCL up 3.4, not great volume, but with all the travel stuff popping up today, I think this will be a good one just to have as a secondary, at least for now. We are used to seeing a lot more volume than that for CCL though. So not heavily in play, but if the whole travel sector is up this morning, I won't be surprised if they pull some kind of move after the market open. Expedia is a very, very tough stock to trade. They're very, very light on volume for the most part. So although they're in play today, up 3% with the whole travel stuff going on, I don't think they're a great trading stock. Delta is on here. Delta could be another one that you can watch. Again, I got American and United already. So let's see what other sectors are coming up here. TLRY, not looking good after the 420 here. So we'll skip on that. I see UPST. No, not right now. Uber is up 2.3, but not looking great. And then we got a bunch of stuff over here. I'm just going to skip down to BA, DKG, and NEO. Let's see what's happening there. So BA for the most part, they are up 2.2. I like BA, guys. I'm going to put as a secondary just in case. And then we got some EVs here. We have XPEV, we have Neo. No, I don't think Neo and XPEV are heavily in play right now. We'll have to wait for that to hit the scanners. And it's funny. I was looking at DKG a few days ago, and DKG is at 16 bucks. I mean, what went wrong with this stock? I mean, we're constantly legalizing betting online, at least in all kinds of states, and this thing just keeps dropping. I don't understand what their problem is. But yeah, they're getting hammered, guys. Not really in play right now. 118,000 up 2.1. But I was shocked when I didn't realize how low they were at 16. When I remember trading at this around $40, $50, and yeah, it's just I don't know what's going on there. And their IPO price was it like, oh, they're back at their IPO price now. We're on that 15, probably lower than their IPO. Whew, that's not fun. We do have Plug here, which was great a couple of days ago. I think it was 2 days ago. This morning, not doing a whole lot there. So, well, I think we got a pretty couple of good tickers out of the gap up list. On the gapping down, we have XRX. We'll do just the top five here. No, this is dropping nicely, 20%. I'm just concerned with the liquidity on this. It just looks very light on volume for the most part. Their days are not seeing more than six
That's
million.
good. It's
Say it again.
Xerox, any of these old school
Oh man,
companies
yeah,
that were considered tech in the 60s or whatever are not great. So,
yeah. I agree. So again, they're just not great intraday trading stock. Alcoa here, they had earnings last night. If you guys catch the live segment with Artie and Andrew, they'll be doing a couple of times a week for the close. So just make sure, guys, if you're on YouTube or even our members here, just make sure you subscribe and you hit the notification because that's the only way you really get notified. Hey, these guys are live, so you kind of can catch it on time instead of realizing after the fact, oh, I missed it or coming in halfway through the show. Just hit that bell and then you can get notified when the minute they go live. Alcoa here, guys. Half and I'm half and half on this. We'll put it on there for now. ALVVR, no good. Had a good day yesterday. Right now, it's just kind of the second day could be tough on this. A little bit on the lower side, 30 million. Not quite a low float yet, but you do have a high share interest, 40% here. That could have changed yesterday after seeing this pop here. Who knows? But I'm not seeing anything great on this one. CVNA, this is Carvana, and I know
the other thing that
our
concerns me on that, you mentioned the short float.
yeah.
FinViz has it at 12%. That's a big
Oh, it's a
deviation. I
big
don't know
gap.
which of those numbers would be correct.
Yeah, that's a big gap. And Finvis is a good website, so I see a deviation like that. I definitely want to stay away from it. But here, either way, not looking great right now. So, yep, we'll skip on that. Carvana here, CVNA. For me, this is a tough one to trade. I think
Yeah.
the price action could be weird. Ed did an amazing job trading this yesterday, and I think he paid for the car that he actually bought through them. It's funny he purchased his vehicle through them, and then he shorts them. So it's like he probably didn't like the experience that he got on there. But either way, he did very well there on this earnings. Sure, he's a great trader when it comes to earnings. If you're looking to trade earnings, he is usually, especially now that we're going into earnings season,
Oh,
he
yeah.
is he is
Check his
usually
room out.
on. Yeah, what is it like? He's on probably like at 3:30 already, 4 o'clock. He's definitely on for earnings.
Oh,
So
he's on. Yeah, he's on before the market closes, as
yeah,
some companies report right at the close. So,
yeah. He's very picky on what he likes for earnings. I mean, he's looking for
this
this
is
very
true.
specific setup. And if he doesn't see, I was in his room one time and he says, "Guys, this is crap. We're not trading anything." He closed his chat room and I think he went fishing. He went to do something, but he's very, very selective, which is nice. You need to be with the way how aggressive these stocks move during earnings. So check him out. CVNA, I'm gonna put it as a possible, but I am most likely not going to trade it, but it is in play today. We'll put it on there. Here is key. No good. No good pre-market action. BHP,
Mm-mm,
nice drop, but again, they're tough to trade.
mm-mm.
So I'm gonna skip on this one. I want to get down to Netflix. Let's skip down to Netflix. I'll probably look at JD and RAD. Netflix definitely on our list, guys. Down 3% this morning, 1.2 million. This is going to be fun for some time. Rite Aid, you know what? No, I don't remember Rite Aid was not
Somebody
even
asked
great.
about Netflix
Yeah.
specifically, so just my two
Hmm.
cents. These tickers, especially big name tickers that have huge drops, a lot of people think that, oh my God, this is overdone. It usually takes 2 to 3 days for these things to pan
Yeah.
out before if they're going to bounce, find a bounce.
Yeah.
It's just, catching falling knife is the term you want to be very careful of. Not that
And
it
it,
won't, not that it can't, and not that it
right.
doesn't ever happen that they bounce up because there's an overreaction, but more often than not, I see it's usually about 3 days.
Yeah. And guys, the news on this is not good. And not just what the past quarter. I mean, the coming quarters. I mean, if I read this correctly, they're expected to lose 2 million users in the current quarter. So the outlook is not looking is not looking bright for this. So, like you said, Norm, even if it's going to bounce, I'm with you. It might not happen this way, but I think it's going to take a while. I think it's going to be 2 days or more if it's an overreaction.
Can you
Um,
imagine if you're a professional money manager and you weren't in it and you're looking for opportunities? Are you going to take a chance on that? Yet
yeah, I
you got
I
to let it
probably wouldn't.
find its
Yeah,
way.
I probably wouldn't. Not with that. Not with the news we're hearing here. Um, let's look at so Friday's no good. JD is on here. That's not looking great neither. But I think we got a pretty nice list. Did we miss Twitter? Was Twitter? Uh, let's get Twitter. See what's going on there. Twitter was rough yesterday though. I still want to add it on here. I think they might, they could do something more of a possible. I mean, the volume's starting to die down on the daily here, so we need Elon Musk to do something to get this going again. But yeah, maybe a possible for now, but it doesn't look great. And yesterday was very choppy compared to everything else that was heavily in play. I agree, Bailey's in a consolidation range right now with losing volume at the same time. So we needed to break out of this. We need them to spark things up a little bit. Um, Bill Ackman lost 430 million. Yeah, I heard some crazy number like that. It's just madness, madness. Um, all right, cool. Norm, anything you like on your side of things?
Yeah, throw it to the room. There's plenty of stuff here to choose from.
Yep, agreed. Let's take it to our chat room, guys. Good morning. Good morning. Let's start with let's see here. Okay, there we go. So Twitter, we have that's good. Tesla, yeah, Tesla's always fun to watch. I agree. And today they're in play for sure. They're up 10%. Man, look at the pop this morning in the pre-market. So they're doing really, really good. Can you imagine being the guy that said, "Oh, Tesla's going to go to zero" when they were before the split? Oh, this company's garbage. You must
Well,
look like the
in
only.
that person's defense, Elon Musk himself has said the probability of Tesla going bankrupt was greater than 50-50.
That
So,
true. I just think Elon just says stuff just to say. I don't think he really believed that, but yeah,
oh, I do.
it's insane. Um, John B, Leg, Key, and Jets. Are those tickers or is just rhyming here? What's going on here? Well, Leg is no good. Key is not getting any better, and if Jets looks bad, you're gonna be banned for a month. Jets. I don't know, man. What's this? The ETF?
That's the airline ETF.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Yeah. I mean, I prefer to trade American Airlines directly. I think it'll be a good one. The liquidity and volume is there. But yeah, Jets looking pretty good this morning. All right. And John, we're just kidding. You're not gonna get banned. So just in case. American Airlines is good. We have that one.
excuse me.
Apple. Marcos is giving us Apple this morning. What do we have here? Uh, yeah, we can watch. It was tough yesterday, very choppy. I do love the daily on it. I think they got some potential to get going here, but hopefully they trade better than they did yesterday. Still worth keeping an eye on this one. ABB and AT&T. ABB, ABB. I don't think we ever looked at this. No, 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 no. Well, what is
That's
this?
why. Get you
Yeah,
to no.
no, 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 no good. And then AT&T, even when they have, come on now, you're messing with me, man. All right, let's move down. Let's look at Facebook. Facebook, a big drop yesterday. Today they're pretty quiet. I don't think they're really in play right now. You might have to wait for the market open on that one, man. Um, so yeah, I don't see anything good on this one. Nvidia was so good yesterday. Yes, I'm gonna add Nvidia. I know it doesn't look great today, but it traded so well on the sell-off. What I don't like about it today is that we're getting back to this consolidation area, so it might be tough here. You might get a little bit of chop, but man, this drop was so good, so good. So let's see if we can get something out of this today. So we'll add Nvidia on here. Um, the semis were in play yesterday, Norm, because you did mention some of the reports coming out of like STM, right? What's the other one? It was
Mm-hmm.
another one too that did like crazy well on their earnings. So let's see if that carries over to Nvidia today. But yeah, they were definitely heavily in play yesterday. And we saw AMD too, right? AMD was another one that did trade very, very well, had a beautiful sell off. I'm going to add AMD as a possible for now, just in case. Okay, excellent. Carlos, do you consider the RVO, R volume, RVO at the open to narrow your stocks in play? Yes and no. I'm aware of it, but I don't really consider it. It doesn't it doesn't, play a factor in my watch list making. So yeah, I'm not really looking at it. Partial American Airlines 221.8. Nice. Nice. So Jav already in American Airlines and getting some off here at 21.8. Very good. Cool. Let's take a look over on our YouTube chat. Let's see what you guys have this morning. CFF, good morning, my friend. I meant to say 220 million Netflix subscribers. Yeah, no, yeah, they're not doing well. And the future outlook is not looking good neither. RDBX, RDBX, RDBX. Here we go. So RDBX, lower price stock. I see what you're looking at. They're up 9.1 and 2, almost 3 million shares traded right now. Guys, I do not like this, and you'll hear me say this a lot about any stock that does this at the very early hours of the market open, right?
Right.
Not the market open, the market open in pre-market hours, right? See this pop here? And now you're just kind of selling down, not even respecting any of the moving averages back down to where you kind of opened up there. That's no good to me. You got to be very careful. I think this is already might be done. Had a somewhat decent day yesterday. The fun might be over on this, so I don't see anything I like here,
I
even
thought the
with the
fun was
volume.
over on this 5 years ago.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. So I don't see anything going on here. Oh, this is the
Red
booth, right? The
box.
booth with the movies. Yeah, I don't know how
Yeah.
they make money now. How they're making money now does not make sense to me at all. So, yep. Anything else, guys, over on YouTube that you like? So Redbox not looking good right now. LCID. We have a couple of EVs coming up on the gap up list towards the bottom here. I saw LCID. I also saw you got XPET, you got Neo. They don't have volume. They're up between that 2%. They're all up 2%, but just no volume right now. So I don't know. Maybe we'll keep an eye on Neo in case there is something going to happen. We have Neo on deck, which is usually the better trading out of all of these Chinese EVs, right? Maybe we'll keep Neo. Let's just do
If you
Neo for
say
now.
so.
Let's just do Neo for now, and we'll see. But again, it's just I don't see a whole lot going on there. I see they're all up this morning, but no good. Blockbuster, yeah, yeah, I remember that. Remember going on Fridays to Blockbuster and walking the wall and seeing what was on a new release, and they did not innovate quick enough, and Netflix happened. All right. Uh, Apple is doing some volume. Let's take a look. I have Apple on deck here. Apple, yeah, it's doing okay. INTC, we'll do this one's the last one, and then we'll get
Remember
over
when
to
they charge
announcements.
you, be kind, please rewind. They charge
Oh
you
yeah.
like $2 if you didn't rewind the tape and take it back when you
Did,
took
did
it
you
back.
did you have one of the Ferraris, the red ones that just put it in there just to rewind? I had one of
I
those.
did not have one of those.
You just put it in there, it just kind of rewinds it for you.
Mhm.
It was something else, man. We're dating ourselves here, but yeah, it's good times. Good times. Um, and the late fees. I always got hit with those. So Monday at noon or
Oh
Tuesday at
yeah.
noon. It was just ridiculous. I was in school. What do you want me to do?
Oh
You
yeah.
know? Um, all right, cool. Let's head
What
over
era was
to
this? Panda Trader wants to know. It was called the 80s,
yes, 80s babies over here,
the
man.
90s.
Yeah, yeah. I show my nephews. We got a little bit of time. We could chat a little bit. These VCRs. Oh, there you go. Paul has it.
Yep.
Yep.
I've
Mine
seen
was
them. I just
not.
didn't have one.
Yeah, mine was not as nice as this. It was much broken. This is a nice one. This doesn't even look like a VCR rewinder. Mine was pretty beat up. For those on YouTube, let me show you what we're talking about. For those young cats that are saying, "What are these guys talking in foreign language here?" That will open up. You put the VCR in there, the VHS, excuse me, the VHS, and then you can rewind it. Be kind, rewind. Good times, my friends. My nephews see this stuff now, and they're like, "What is that?" It's just hilarious. All right.
They see a rotary phone, they're like, "What the hell?"
Oh, have you? I did this with my nephews. I had a rotary phone, and I told them,
You're
"How does
like,
this
yeah, tell
work?"
them to call someone.
Yeah, like, can you call? If you call someone, I'll give you $10. And they were not able to figure it out. And they were pressing the
That's
numbers, and
awesome.
it's just you got to
That's
try it on your son
awesome.
when he gets a little older. It's hilarious. All right, a little flashback on this Throwback Thursday, I guess. So let's get to our announcements. See what's coming up for this week and next, and we will come back and fine tune this list.
All right. I'm going to go fast because we chatted for a little bit. Let's see here. Technology on Monday. Next Monday is going to be you, Carlos, talking about using scanners and news alerts to find trading opportunities. That's 8 p.m. Eastern, immediately following his onboarding webinar. My head is buzzing about crazy stuff from 40 years ago or whatever.
Yeah.
All right. And next week on Tuesday, you've got Eamon, 5 p.m., talking about his parabolic reversal strategy. Susan's webinar should be posted soon. Next week, Mike, 8 p.m., talking about addressing your trading challenges, fear of missing out. And mentorship Thursday. We've got 11, 4, and 8. As you mentioned, Ed, 4 o'clock should be awesome, especially right after the market close with those earnings trades. Don't forget, when you sign up for Bear Bull Traders, you have access to both this main room and Ed's room. So check him out. Completely different style. Also, check out our free web-based replay simulator at stocktradingsimulator.com. And if you're watching on YouTube, haven't been in the chat, you can use the promo code PREMARKET24 when you sign up for the test drive. Just see that test drive now button about halfway down the homepage at bearbulltraders.com. Click it, sign up, use the promo code, one-time payment, a discount. And then also, if you want to gain access to all the webinars we were discussing, use the promo code SPRING50. That'll get you half off the Elite Annual Membership.
All right, thank you, Norm. All right, guys, let's get to it. Let's look here at our list this morning. So right now, American Airlines looking very good, guys. Beautiful pre-market activity. Got some great volume as well. So that one definitely in play. Gonna keep that one there. Tesla's looking good as well. Very active this pre-market. We have Netflix down 3.74% now almost. Again, great volume and not looking so good at the moment. Apple, Apple's pre-market's okay. I like the volume. I like the fact that we're up, but I like the daily more than anything. I would really like the way the daily's setting up here on Apple. And then we have Nvidia had a really good trading day yesterday. I'm hoping we can get back to the top of this range. Will be nice. Just kind of get going here. But you can see towards the downside, it has had some really aggressive drops, right? Within this range, right? So maybe today we might not have something good towards the upside, but every time it sells off, you can see here how aggressive that sell-off was here as well. Again, that 225 becoming a big resistance for this stock here in Nvidia. So we just came off of that yesterday. Let's see if today we can get any kind of continuation back up to that 225. That would be nice. And then we have some possibles that look pretty good. Alcoa here, I'm not a big fan of this one, but it is in play, guys. Down 8.7 today. United Airlines is my secondary airline I'm going to be looking at. There's a couple you can look on as well. You got JetBlue, you got Delta, Love. I think it's Love is Southwest, right? Yeah, Southwest Airlines. I got a couple on here that are in play, but definitely American Airlines taking the lead here with a very good catalyst there. I have CCL, another travel one, just in case. Not Bank of America, excuse me, BA here. So the Boeing companies there. Carvana is in play. I have Twitter, not doing a whole lot right now. It's just kind of stuck in this consolidation range at the moment. AMD could be a good one, and Neo, just in case some EVs get going there. So pretty good list, but definitely I think what we have on the main list beats out anything that's on the secondary list for right now. So let's do levels here. All right, we'll start American Airlines right now. The top of the list, American Airlines 2190. So we'll put a level there. And then if we go over here to the left, we have a level on the daily around 2123. So we'll throw a level there. And then the most recent highs here, we do have 2234. Now, given that this catalyst is pretty good for them on their upcoming expected quarter, let's go ahead and come in here and see if we have anything towards the top. We have a nice level here. A lot of touches around 2340, 2339, might be 2340, and then a couple of big ones here. I don't think we'll get here today, but just in case, we have 2482 and 26 all the way up here. I don't think that's in the books for today, but we'll see. If we're up 11% with some good volume here, guys, 9 million shares traded. Towards the bottom, plenty of stuff, guys. Highs and lows from the last 2 trading days. Got you covered there. Do not need to add anything more. Here is Tesla. Tesla's beautiful daily breaking out of this 1033 area. High of the pre-market at the moment. It looks like it wants to go back up and test that now on this beautiful ABCD pattern that we're forming at the moment is 1081. So that is your high of your pre-market. Above that, you do have this 1279, and obviously all the way up here 1153ish or so. So let's see if we can get going here, guys. Looking pretty good. Towards the bottom, highs and lows. I am only going to add this one level here. This is around 1058. So if you look at 1058 on the daily, you have some support happening there, a little bit of resistance and support here as well in these 2 days. You can see in the pre-market how we kind of hesitated right around that area. Right now, the coincidence on the daily, you can see that's for the only area in this gap here where you have a couple of days opening and closing around that area. So that is worth having that on there. Here is Netflix. Netflix again down another 3.5 after just an insane bloodbath yesterday. Not only gapping down, but then selling down another 10, 15, 20, 12% or so. So that was a massive drop for them there. Low of the pre-market, 216.60 at the moment. And then above that, you do have the highs and lows from the last trading day, the last 2 trading days ago. They're all going to be all the way up here at 350. So going to be very interesting, guys. Again, the catalyst on this thing is not news. The future outlook is not great. Going to see how this is going to trade today. Looking forward to it. Would not surprise me if this thing drops another leg. I don't think we'll drop too much, but it would not surprise me at all. Here is Apple at the moment towards the bottom. Highs and lows of the last 2 trading days. Going to mark down the high of the pre-market, 169.25. And then above that is where things start getting really interesting. Got the 171 that we haven't reached in a while here. We have not been able to get above that in some time. And then above that, we do have the 175 and also 178 8-ish area here. You got the 2 recent highs up here. We had a nice double top there before we had to drop down to the area we're consolidating for the last couple of weeks. So great daily. Didn't trade so hot yesterday. Hopefully today we could have a better opportunity on Apple. Nvidia did amazing yesterday. Does not have a great pre-market activity right now, but we'll be ready for it just in case. This one we could replace with something else, but it'll be one of the semiconductors tech companies that we have here that can trade very well. So high after pre-market 219, the low at 216.30, and I think that's all you need to do right now for this one. Outside of that, you think you're pretty much set on Nvidia. The highs and lows from the last 2 trading days are surrounding the price action. You do not need to add anything else, guys. Just keep it simple. Don't have your levels, all over the place here, creating a messy situation for you. So that is looking good. Let's see here. Anything else good on the gappers list that has popped up? Anything new? I don't see anything new that looks good. Nope, we are all set. NCLA's coming up on the gappers list as well. We do have CCL just in case on our list also. All right, excellent, guys. Let's take a look. What do you guys have this morning? Anything else that we have not mentioned that we can take a look at? Our moderators coming in with their lists. I see everyone has a couple of American Airlines, Netflix, United, Apple. So that's good there. Why is our core gapping down? I think they had earnings. I think it was earnings, right? Earnings this morning? No. Or last night? I believe that's what it was. Yeah, earnings last night. After hours last night. So that's what happened. That's their gapping down. So see here it is. Earnings last night. They had a nice gap down. And now they're down 8.7. But yeah, they had see they had good earnings, but maybe something I haven't digged into it. I heard they had good earnings, but maybe something in the future outlook, was not great. You got to look at the details on why the market is reacting this way. So even if you have some, we've seen stocks where they beat their earnings as far as numbers, their revenue, their sales, they meet all three things, but then they say, hey, for this future quarter we're gonna do you expect to do less than expected, or it's not a good number, or like Netflix, right? They're expected to lose a bunch of more subscribers. Well, that's what investors and traders really care about. They care about, okay, well, you did what you did is fine. What do you plan on doing going forward? If that forecast is not looking great, you can have a reaction like this one, or maybe you did have a future outlook and people just don't believe you. If they don't believe you, that's another way to get a drop as well. So who knows? I have not looked into the details on that one there. Uber. Yeah, I saw Uber. It's not the best intraday trading stock. They could be a little tough at times. They're up 2.3 here, but their pre-market is not significantly active at the moment. You can't wait for the market open. I think they'll get the volume. My issue with Uber at times is it can be so choppy, and the price action hard to read. So I don't think this is going to be like an American Airlines or any of the other ones I have here. I don't think Uber is going to trade better than these. That I have on my list. Even some of the stuff that I have on my secondary list is probably going to be better. Look at CCL now. CCL is starting to get very interesting. The volume is at 879 and climbing, and now we're seeing a nice little movement out of CCL. So maybe CCL could be one that we move up today. And that will complete our six for right now. One, two, three, four, five, six. Yeah, perfect. That'll be our number six there for CCL. So volume is picking up, but I also like the pattern on the price action right now a little bit better. Especially if we get back up to this 240, 2047 high of the pre-market, that would be nice. Towards the bottom, you got plenty of stuff, guys, highs and lows from the last two trading days. I'm gonna mark down the high of this day here, 2148. You can see on the daily, right? No coincidence. On the daily, you can see across the board how that has played out a part in this daily, right? 2148. So these levels, guys, they got to be very, very clear. You can see here how clearly this is a strong daily level for CCL. Very clear stuff there. All right, guys, we got a couple of minutes. Any questions that we can get to over on our YouTube chat or also in our chat room here? Labu could be interesting. Let's take a look. This would be Labu. I mean,
Leverage
what?
biotech ETF.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So ETF, you gotta wait for the market open to see how this is gonna play out. It's tough to say how this is gonna be. So be careful. It looks very, very even when it trades well, it looks very algo like. So just be mindful of that. Is this leverage too?
Yeah,
Is
three
it
three
three
times leverage.
times?
Brian trades
Yeah,
that sometimes.
yeah. Careful with that, guys. Very, very careful. Do you get into trades on market or limit? So I use a marketable limit order when I get into trades. In the pre-market, you can only use limit orders, but when in the market open, I use a marketable limit order plus or minus like 3 cents, 5 cents. So usually the stuff that we're trading is very active. It's a lot of volume, so there's no issue getting filled with a marketable limit order. It just protects you from not getting some crazy fill, way off your price, right? 20, 15 cents off, right? So just in case by the time you hit that, you have some kind of change in, I don't know, in the bid and ask. But usually, that doesn't happen. Rarely do I hit that button and I do not get filled or get a partial filled. That doesn't happen. The stuff we're trading is very, very liquid. Plug, please. Isabel, let's take a look at Plug for you. Plug. Plug had a big day. What was it, the day before? They had a good yeah, here it was. They had a big day 2 days ago. Nice pre-market action. Norm, you shorted this on the pre-market. That's how clean it was,
Yeah,
how much volume we had. And look how great this traded towards the downside here and then another move towards the upside. But
Netflix is waking up.
yeah, pay attention to Plug's pre-market during this day. You're not getting nowhere near that pre-market action today. So I don't see anything great here. You did have a pop 2 days ago and now the drop. You're just back at this area of consolidation. It might not be great today, Isabel, but again, You have to wait and see for the market open. But right now, the way it looks, volume is too light. I'm not seeing anything great on this. All right, here's Netflix bouncing off that 216 after testing it a couple of minutes here. Was not able to get below that, and now you're getting a nice little bounce here over to 220. So let's see. Is this the start of it trying to go green
I
and
don't know.
maybe
We'll see.
settling off some of this overreaction that we got on the
See if
downside?
it can get through 220.
Yeah, let's see if we can
That's the
get pushing
first
here.
hurdle, but it took out all the orders at 220 on the book. I'm watching it on Bookmap.
Yeah, yeah. Let's see how that goes there. Sometimes the 8 a.m. candle, a wick is a lot higher or lower than the previous pre-market high or low. Do you use that AM level? So
Negative.
those are usually transactions being posted. I know some traders use it. I know Thor uses that. He calls what he calls it.
Tinfoil
He has
line.
the line. What is he calls it?
Tinfoil
The
line. Like
tinfoil line.
tinfoil hat conspiracy theory.
I don't. I prefer to use the actual
Some
pre-market line level.
some working on it, Brando. We will have that very soon. Maybe today or within the next day or so. So stay posted for a deal to try out. I think it's like 20, I can't remember what the deal is we have, but it's pretty decent at least to try it out, to sign up, try it out, and see if you like it. So anyway, yeah, tinfoil. The thing is that doesn't even show up on some platforms. A lot of platforms take
They'll
that
cut
out.
that out, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So I prefer to use the pre-market levels that get tested by actual price action, not just transactions being recorded like that. Netflix is a good example. Let's take a look. Where do you see that? Netflix this morning
Right at
or
8 o'clock.
yesterday? 8 o'clock. Oh yeah, right here. Yeah. I mean, this is within your pre-market high or low anyway. But I'll use this line because this line here, this 216. Let's just say this line was down here, just for our purposes right now. I will still use this line because this is the one that was tested where the volume came down one, twice, three, four. This would have more significance to me than this one line going down here. Same thing. This was the pre-market high here. Let's say the pre-market high was over here. Look how much time this thing has been tested here. The 219 will be more important than this one line here. All right, just the way I would see it. Like if I was looking for a breakout, I would pay attention to where we have had more touches than this line here. I am very new to trading. Important noob question here: is a ball cap a mandatory tool of the trade? Yes, yes.
We start early, man. We
Yes,
start early. Some days
absolutely.
I don't have time to get in the shower before we hit the show.
Yeah, yeah.
That's my
I don't
answer.
I don't actually need it. I just kind of go like this. But you know what? It's cold. It feels good with the headphones as well. So yeah, the ball cap is a must. It's a must if you're gonna be trading. Um, all right, what else do we have? We got some questions here too. Good morning. Oh, I'm new to trading. For the fallen angel rising devil strategy, what do you mean by pre-market? The stock is moving in the direction of the gap.
So if it gaps down, it's selling off, or if it gaps
Right.
up, it's rising.
Correct.
It's
Yeah.
continuing its move. It's not retracing back to previous day close.
Yep. After zooming into a specific time frame on a chart, how do you undo that in DAS? Just usually just zoom out. You mean like after you go like this and you zoom into Netflix? I just kind of scroll back on the mouse and just zoom out. Um, that's the way I'm doing that. I'm not sure that is exactly the issue you're having. All right, guys. 216. Let's get to our moderators lineup. Lost track of time there. As I am doing this, let me resize this for our friends over on YouTube. Hit that thumbs up. We appreciate it very much. And subscribe and hit the notification bell. So when we go live later in the afternoons, you can catch us there, especially with Artie and Andrew going live a couple of days for the close. Kind of giving us a recap of the day and what's expected, especially during earnings season. A lot of fun stuff happening. Next week, we have a lot of big names reporting. Looking forward to that. That's going to create some good trading opportunities for us as well. Let's start here with Thor. He's looking at the market. American Airlines and Apple both good today. Apple was not great yesterday. Hopefully it is today. Mike is looking at Netflix, Apple, and BA. Dima is looking at American Airlines, United, and Apple. Jared will be looking at Tesla, which is very active today, by the way. Already, guys, 1.5 million. I'm sorry, 1.7 million, up 9.4. So some big numbers for Tesla this morning. American Airlines, Netflix, and secondary list Carvana, Twitter, and CCL. Susan will be looking at is that a ticker ABCD, or are you looking for the ABCD pattern on American Airlines, Tesla, and Netflix? Let's see what Susan says here. Pattern. Okay, nice. So Susan will be looking for a specific pattern today on ABCD, on American Airlines, Tesla, and Netflix, and sticking to breakouts. We'll post soon. Very nice. Here is Brian's list: Tesla, Alcoa, who had earnings last night, Uber, SQ, and Netflix. And then Megan will be looking at the main one today, American Airlines, and then secondary list, SQ and Nike for her this morning. So, guys, there you have it. Thank you so much for joining us on YouTube. We're going to continue here in our chat. Andrew and Brian are up next, trading live. If you haven't tried us out over on YouTube, you can do so. Use pre-market 24 for a 7-day trial. You get 24 charges $24. You get access to the entire community as far as chat rooms, 2 chat rooms, ours, the main chat, and Ed's chat, and you can take advantage of kind of seeing what the community and environment is about. And besides that, have a whole lot of fun while you're learning as well. So you can't beat that. Guys, trade safe, and we will see you guys tomorrow.
Take care, guys. Trade safe.